The matchup. Okay, so obviously what the people want to see is Caitlyn versus Paige. We're going to do this. Who wins the matchup between Caitlyn and Paige? I already know what.
Okay, it's time to finally put this debate to rest. We're pitting them head to head to find out who truly reigns supreme in one of the hottest discussions in the game today.
2024 versus 2025 all rookie teams. Who wins a game to 21? Why is it 21? Why can't it just be who wins a game?
Let's dive in. Check this out. WNBA legends Candace Parker and A'ja Wilson just dropped some major insights on their podcast, diving straight into the heated Caitlin Clark versus Paige Bueckers debate. And trust me, their take is shaking up the basketball world like crazy. This isn't just some random Twitter chatter. These are true champions, Hall of Famers, speaking completely candid about who would come out on top in a one-on-one showdown. What they revealed might surprise you way more than you expect. Before we break down every explosive detail of what Candace and A'ja had to say, and believe me, it's sparking a ton of controversy. I need you to weigh in. Comment below. Are you team Caitlyn or team Paige? After hearing the thoughts of these WNBA pros, your pick might just flip.
Come on, man.
You can't just play to 21. Like, what's the problem with 21?
I want a full game. And we're going to go down the list. This is kind of tough. I'm not going to lie. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Camila Cardoza, Rickea Jackson, Phoebish versus 2025, which is Paige Bueckers, Sonia Citron, Kiki Irifen, Dominique Malonga.
It all kicked off because of a simple game to 21. And if you know basketball culture, you know that's a whole different beast. Playing to 21 isn't about structured 5-on-5 with coaches and set plays. Nope, this is pure street ball. It's raw, it's unfiltered, you grab the ball, you check up, and it's on. Maybe it's 3 players, maybe 4, but every possession is a one-on-one battle, a chance to show who's really better in the moment. It's as much a mental grind as it is a test of skill, where heart and toughness make all the difference.
Though, hear me out, I low-key think 2024 would win that.
They definitely have more shooting on 2020.
All right, here's the scoop. Candace Parker and A'ja Wilson just dropped a huge episode of their podcast, and they went straight for the debate that's been dominating basketball talk for months. Caitlin Clark versus Paige Bueckers. But they didn't just give some vague, wishy-washy answer. Nope, they dove in deep. They broke down every matchup, analyzed skill sets in detail, and shared their brutally honest takes on who would actually win in a real game. And honestly, their opinions are sending shockwaves, sparking heated debates across the entire basketball world.
Matchup. Okay, so obviously what the people want to see is Caitlyn versus Paige. We're going to do this. Who wins the matchup between Caitlyn and Paige? I already know what.
So, this whole debate kicked off from a single WNBA social media post that asked a deceptively 2024 rookie class versus 2025 rookie class in a game to 21. Who comes out on top? Right away, A'ja Wilson had some doubts about the format, questioning why it had to be just a game to 21 instead of a full-length matchup. Candace Parker jumped in to explain it's a classic pickup game format, but A'ja wasn't fully convinced. She argued that a full game would give a much clearer picture, showing rotations, coaching adjustments, and the real impact of fatigue. And honestly, she's spot on. A quick 21-point game doesn't reveal the full dynamics at play. Now, the most exciting part? The rosters. The 2024 rookie class is stacked with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Camila Cardoso, Rickea Jackson, and one more player. The 2025 rookie class counters with Paige Bueckers, Sonia Citron, Kiki Iriafen, Dominique Malonga, and Janelle Salowin. On paper, both squads are absolutely loaded with game-changing talent, but the way they play is a whole different story, and that's what makes this matchup so fascinating. Candace immediately highlighted the clearest edge: shooting. The 2024 class simply has more firepower from deep, and it's not just her opinion. Caitlin Clark is widely regarded as one of the greatest shooters in women's basketball history. Her range seems endless, and her ability to create her own shot off the dribble is elite. Having a player like that on your team changes everything. Defenses can't sag off. They can't overcommit to help. They have to respect the three-point line, which instantly opens up the floor for everyone else.
And I'd actually, Rickea. We'll do Rickea. Sonia Citron and Rickea.
I still think Rickea can win that. You think Sonia's gonna win that?
That is more of like a coin toss, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Skill set wise, they actually play very similar, but I do think system wise it's different. So we're seeing different skill sets.
That's true.
because Rakia doesn't play. Angel and Kiki.
Let me tell you, that would be one heck of a matchup.
Right?
That would really be one heck of a matchup.
That's why I said 21 isn't enough.
Then they really started digging into the matchups, and this is where the debate truly exploded. The matchup everyone around the basketball world is dying to see, the one that would sell out any arena and break TV viewership records, is of course Caitlin Clark versus Paige Bueckers. Think about it. These two are arguably the most electrifying and skilled guards to come out of college basketball in the last decade, or maybe even longer. Both carry championship DNA, boast massive followings, and have that killer instinct that allows them to take over a game when it matters most. So, the ultimate question, who takes the one-on-one showdown? A'ja Wilson didn't hesitate for a plus. Second, her pick was Caitlin Clark, and that answer carries weight for a lot of reasons. First, A'ja is Caitlin's teammate on the Indiana Fever. She sees firsthand, day in and day out, what Caitlin can do at the highest level, her relentless work ethic, meticulous preparation, and clutch performance under pressure. This isn't casual fan talk, it's a pro speaking from experience. Second, A'ja is one of the smartest, most respected players in the WNBA. She isn't throwing out a hot take just for clicks or drama. When she says Caitlin would win, it's an informed, expert assessment based on real knowledge. Candace Parker's reaction was also telling. She clearly expected A'ja to pick Caitlin, but she didn't push back. That silence says a lot. Candace is a Hall of Famer who has seen every type of elite talent over the past 2 decades. If she doesn't immediately challenge Caitlin beating Paige head-to-head, that speaks volumes about how legitimate A'ja's take really is. But let's step back for a second. The Caitlin versus Paige debate is about more than just basketball. It's about narratives, media coverage, fan passion, and the future of women's basketball. These two players represent different paths to success. Caitlin stayed in college all 4 years, built her game piece by piece, and became one of the most decorated college players in history before turning pro. Paige, meanwhile, battled serious injuries that disrupted her timeline, but still emerged as one of the most fundamentally skilled players in the game. Both journeys are remarkable, both players are phenomenal, and yet the head-to-head question will always ignite fiery, passionate debate. Then they dug into the matchups, and this is where the debate really came alive. Next up, Sonia Citron versus Rakia Jackson. Candace called it a coin toss, and A'ja completely agreed, and it's easy to see why. Both are versatile wings who can score, lock down defensively, and influence the game in multiple ways. But Candace made a really sharp point about systems. She explained that the differences we see in their games right now are largely shaped by the teams they play for. Rakia doesn't play in Sonia's system, and Sonia hasn't played in Rakia's. That's a high-level perspective on player evaluation. How a player appears to fans often depends on the system they're in. Some systems highlight certain strengths while hiding others. Rakia, playing for the Los Angeles Sparks, might not get to showcase everything she's capable of. Sonia, once drafted, could end up in a completely different system. So comparing them head-to-head isn't just about raw talent, it's about imagining how their skills translate in a neutral setting. A'ja circled back to her earlier point. A game to 21 just doesn't cut it. It's a taste, not a full picture. Then they moved to Angel Reese versus Kiki Irie. Both Candace and A'ja agreed instantly. This would be a brutal, high-intensity battle. A'ja emphasized how physical and relentless both players are, with energy and effort that never drop. Every possession is a challenge, every moment is max effort. This could be the most exciting matchup of the hypothetical game. And again, A'ja stressed why a full game is necessary. In a quick race to 21, results can swing on a few lucky bounces or a brief hot streak. A full 40-minute game reveals the smarter, more conditioned, and more resilient player. After reviewing all the individual matchups, Candace ultimately picked the 2024 class to win, citing their shooting advantage and greater experience. But she also gave special praise to Dominique Malonga, suggesting she could become one of the best post players the WNBA has ever seen. That's serious praise coming from Candace, who's competed against some of the best bigs in the game. What makes Dominique stand out? Candace highlighted her rare mix of size, skill, and basketball IQ. She's not just a physical presence in the paint. She can pass, finish with both hands, and understands positioning and angles at a level that leads to sustained success. Professionally, Candace's take acknowledges that while the 2024 class might be stronger now, the 2025 class has players with massive long-term potential. Finally, the conversation took a fun turn as they compared their own rookie classes. Candace's legendary 2008 group included herself, Sylvia Fowles, Candace Wiggins, and other stars, while Asia's 2023 class featured top talents like Diamond Shields and Jordan Haston. Both classes stacked with incredible talent, giving yet another layer to this deep and thoughtful discussion. At first, Asia tried to stay diplomatic, saying she always roots for her own squad, but Candace pressed her, asking if she could honestly say the 2023 class would win. Aja's response was, "Perfect. I would be lying, and I'd hate to come on this podcast and start lying." That kind of raw honesty is exactly why these conversations are so valuable. She could have given the usual corporate answer about both classes being talented and it going either way, but she didn't. The 2008 class was absolutely stacked, loaded with Hall of Famers, multiple MVPs, and championship winners. The 2023 class has talent, no doubt, but they're still early in their careers and haven't reached that legendary level yet. Candace did acknowledge that the 2023 class is just 2 years in and has dealt with injuries. But even so, the gap between the two eras is clear to anyone willing to be honest. What's fascinating about this discussion is how it reveals how professional players actually evaluate talent. They're not just looking at box scores or highlight clips, they're thinking about systems, matchups, physical tools, basketball IQ, work ethic, and long-term potential. When Candace and Aja debate Caitlin Clark versus Paige Bueckers, it's not about points per game or flashy handles. They're considering who would actually win in a real competitive setting where both players are fully prepared and motivated. The fact that Aja picked Caitlin instantly tells you a lot. She's not just a teammate showing favoritism. She's speaking from first-hand experience, training and competing with Caitlin daily, seeing how she prepares, adjusts to defenses, and performs in the clutch. That perspective carries far more weight than any talking head on TV who's never played professionally. But even more importantly, the very existence of this debate highlights how vibrant women's basketball is right now. Comparing these rookie classes, debating individual matchups, and engaging in thoughtful discussions shows that fans, media, and players alike are fully invested. The Caitlin versus Paige conversation has become the defining rivalry of this generation, reminiscent of the legendary Bird versus Magic debates in the 1980 seconds NBA. These players aren't just stars, they're cultural figures representing different styles, approaches, and fan bases, and just like Bird versus Magic, this debate might never be fully settled because both have a strong case for being the best. Candace and Aja's discussion also underscores just how many factors matter in these matchups: shooting, athleticism, basketball IQ, system fit, chemistry, and experience. You can't simply compare scoring averages and declare a winner. The game is far too complex for that. And the best evaluators, those who've played at the highest levels, understand that complexity in ways casual fans often don't. The comment about Dominique Malonga potentially becoming one of the greatest post players in WNBA history really highlights how these pros think long-term. They're not just evaluating who's strong right now, they're projecting entire careers, spotting the traits that usually lead to sustained excellence. And when someone with Candace Parker's resume makes that claim, it's worth paying attention. What's equally refreshing is the honesty. Aja could have played it safe. She could have dodged the Caitlin versus Paige question, given a neutral answer, and said it depends on the day. But she didn't. She made a choice and stood by it. That kind of authenticity is rare in professional sports, where athletes are often coached to avoid controversy, and it's exactly what fans crave. The bigger picture is that debates like this are critical for the sport. When Candace Parker and Aja Wilson break down these matchups on their podcast, they're creating content that spreads across social media, sparks discussion, and gets fans invested. It drives engagement, brings new eyes to the game, and raises the profile of women's basketball. So even though it's framed as a hypothetical rookie class debate, it actually serves a much larger purpose: growing the game itself. So there you have it. Candace Parker and Aja Wilson weighed in on the huge Caitlin versus Paige debate, and Aja picked Caitlin without hesitation. Do you agree with her expert take, or is Paige still your number one? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your perspective. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more women's basketball content, because trust me, this debate is far from over. See you next time.